broadcast has just stopped, so apologies for that one, but we are back here then at SimPlay Motorsport. Not quite sure what happened there, but we are just double checking. Yep, we are live, we are back, so apologies for what happened there, but yeah, strange one.
Very strange. PlayStation Network deciding to become a bit temperamental tonight for whatever reason, but we're currently riding with Unorthodox at the moment, who we saw having a pretty strong qualifying session. Actually, Matt, he's one who I've overlooked for this race still. I'm going to say, I'm going to put some of my money, not all my money, I'm going to put an each way bet on Unorthodox. I reckon he's going to be good for a podium here in this one. I'm not putting the win.
Yeah, do you know what? I think you could be right there. I think you could be right there. Jamie Brazy's just asked if we have his internet. No, I don't think we do, Jamie.
We're remote accessing you tonight, Jamie. We're doing it through your PlayStation.
Yeah, we've popped to church and we've decided to borrow your connection. Unorthodox is one to watch. Peaceful Explosion currently sitting on the pole, a 10th ahead of Emo Guy. D-Biggs currently 3rd with Argent 4th. Unorthodox in P5. Monkey Boy AH, Fury, Dean and Keegs not yet settled lap time. Then is Monkey Boy stage P3. So apologies about that one, but we are back live now going. As we were saying, we are looking forward to next Thursday to SimPlay 8v8 versus Motive Racing. If you are a fan of Motive Racing and don't know what they are and would like to get involved, go to motiveracing.com and head over to their Discord server as well.
Before you do that, guys, make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the SimPlay Motorsport channel. Lots of stuff going on. You get more viewers than Motive here at SimPlay. Clearly got a good following. Always in excess of 20 people watching the stream, sometimes as many as 30 at a time. So yeah, clearly a great following over here. Definitely drop a like on this video. Let's try and get 20 likes on this video if we can, if we haven't already. We did it on the last week's stream, I believe.
Yeah, I think we did at the end.
The Pro Series. Yeah, we did get 20 likes. So guys, please, if you are watching this, we've got lots of people watching this stream. If you could all drop a like on this video, get this video up to 20 likes, we would be absolutely well and truly chuffed with that. And let me do it myself as well.
On board Monkey Boy then at the moment currently P6, and in a Cora car that isn't seemed to be the strongest here this season at SimPlay Motorsport. Monkey Boy and Dean Wasaki really struggling.
No, it's not
Fury.
It's Fury. Yeah, Fury losing the car there, been in it on the exit. Sorry, Matt, I don't care.
No, that's fine. The Cora really struggling here. So what can Monkey Boy do? We have seen Dean Wasaki actually take a pole position here at SimPlay Motorsport for a race 2 race at the Nürburgring, I do believe. So an interesting one. See the Acura really struggle apart from a pole at Nürburgring. We will see what happens. But yeah, join us next week Wednesday night for the Inter SimPlay Battle. Pro-Am and Pro mixed together for that on Wednesday night. Group A classic touring cars, I do believe, around Silverstone Classic. We'll bring you coverage of that on the Wednesday night, and join us Thursday night for the 8v8 against Motive Racing, like we said a moment ago, which should be a cracker. I can announce the driver lineup for the SimPlay channel. No Mazda, which many people may have expected. He's going to take a week's break. I know his partner is pregnant, so he's taking a week's break and spending the extra week with her. But I can tell you that Gary131 captaining the side, apparently that's part of the contract deal for him to drive with us, for him to captain the side according to him. So he's loving that. Partnered by his brother Little Leach Motorsport, bigging us up here. Sutty and Phil from Run Flat Racing, they're with us as well. Peaceful Explosion, hopefully he can have a better show than what he is here. Keegs from Iron Brew Racing, he's there with us. And then we've got Dean Wasaki and Welshie, the Pro-Am driver, making the list, who, if you don't know, is leading the Pro-Am Championship, but he's with us next Thursday in our group battle. Should be a fantastic race, as Dean Wasaki currently hasn't set a lap time. Him and Fury are the only guys to not set a lap. Here is Dean Wasaki, so picked for next week.
Very much throttle on the exit of the corner there, Matt. He definitely didn't seem to have much confidence. He goes P7 with that lap, so not too bad.
Dean's actually done a lap, and like I said earlier, Dean's lap would get him the same as Emo Guy, around about that pace of Emo Guy at the minute, so good enough for P4, but he's just not putting them together like he did last night. He seemed very confident. It was just me and him on, and I know sometimes that Dean can just overdrive. He can get criticised of this a lot, and Gary's one that can tell you this. Dean loves to overdrive the car. So yeah, hopefully it's not the case. AH, the man on pole at the minute, 4/10 of a second quicker than D-Biggs. So the BMW looks the quickest car today so far. Fury not yet set a lap time, and he won't want to start 14th in the middle of all the championship contenders and the the race 1 winners as well. I'm sure you want to do better. Dean's retired to the pits, so Dean won't get another lap in. Neither will AH. Everybody on track will at the minute. Oh, Peaceful Explosion's going slow. He'll want to push to the end to get another lap in. He's got 43 seconds. Kieran's going to get one more. Does he improve this time around? No improvement. Still P6 for Kieran Argent then. That's Monkey Boy and Fury coming around the final corner. Here is Peaceful. He will get to line in time. What can Monkey Boy do? Any improvement on P8? And no. Fury, though, has gone P2. Good lap from Fury there. Heck of a lap time.
Yeah, he's pretty close to AH. Fury always does better in the feature races. He just needs to get his teeth cut in a little bit over the course of the first qualifying session in the race. He wouldn't have got much of a representative running in the opening race because obviously it was very wet conditions. This being bone dry, we haven't really seen what he can do, but he's just making his way past one of the Acuras there, Dean, as you say, or Monkey Boy, I believe.
It's Monkey Boy, yeah, Monkey Boy, the blue wing mirrors, Dean the yellow.
Ah, gotcha.
Just want to, can I just point something out? Gary,
cool.
A bit of flirting with Beth there in the chat with the looks of that, look. Wouldn't worry, Beth still sat in the pits, kiss, kiss. Bit of flirting going on in the chat here between Gary. I'm watching you two.
Whoa.
Even to Fury's granddad, he's always on Motive and here on SimPlay on the programme.
There between those two, I'm absolutely certain there's nothing.
Yeah. Fury's granddad here, he's here every week. He's also over at Motive Racing as well every week, so he's a big follower. D-Big's gone P2 at the moment, a 10th off of AH's time. Good close qualifying at the minute between the top 3. Can Fury improve? So D-Big's is done. Where's Fury on track? On Orthodubs, the man you tipped currently P4, 1.7 off, and he's into the pits now. Fury, is he the man to take pole away from AH? Only needs 0.3 of a second, or just over 3.5 tenths, and he's not going to do it while he's round.
Oh no, he just binned it there, got too much onto the rear tyres, and he's going to start third unless anybody else behind him picks it up in the late end of this race. Peaceful Explosion once again struggling in dry conditions here at Brno for whatever reason.
Yeah, Kieran Argent.
Seconds at a time.
Kieran Argent and Keegs, 2.3, 2.5 off the pace. That is strange. Kieran, can he improve this time around? Let's see. Yeah, he improves, but 2.4. Keegs is coming up to the last corner. What can he do now in the BMW? Masters teammate for this one. Can he improve any here? Let's see. Coming up to the penultimate corners now. I don't think I've gone through the Constructors' Championship tonight, so I'll quickly do that in just a moment. We'll see Keegs finish his lap first. So they come across the line any moment now, and he needs a good chunk of time to get to Emo Guy. And I think he got it there in the end. Yeah.
He did, yeah. He moved up a position. Good lap there at the end from Keegs. Keeping his composure, doing a nice one. 1.3 seconds off of the top time, so he's in amongst it at the moment. Ian will be a bit disappointed to move down to P7 right at the end. We've got the Nissan GTRs. Seem to have got it together. We were saying it's a tricky track for those.
Yeah.
But we've got Fury in P3 doing a brilliant job, and Ian a second off of him. So Fury's done an absolute... He's done bits in this qualifying session.
Yeah.
He's come on so much.
And a shout out to Biggs and Unorthodox again. A good solid second qualifying to back up their first qualifying. Can they convert the race pace there then? But it's AH who takes his first pole position of the season from D Biggs. Row 2 will be Fury and Unorthodox. Row 3 Peaceful Explosion and Keegs. On row 4 we've got Emo Guy and Kieran Argent. Row 5 is the Flatline Motorsport Acuras of Dean Wysocki, out qualifying Monkey Boy then. Phil will start on row 6 alongside Little Eat. Row 7 is Mazda and Gary, and Sutty on row 8 all alone. But I'm sure he won't mind that, as he outdid them two on the start line last time around. Can he outdo them this time round as well? We are about to find out.
Guys, I want to say, if you are watching live on the SimPlay Motorsport YouTube channel, be sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more content like this. Some of the best action here on Project Cars 2 every week, Wednesday and Thursday. You've got the Pro-Am series on the Wednesdays at 8 PM GMT, that's UK time, and then Pro series that you're seeing in front of you at the moment. Some of the best GT3 drivers on PlayStation 4, and we're seeing them currently putting these cars through their paces and doing an excellent job. Some of the cleanest racing you will see as well. So definitely drop a like on this video if you appreciate these guys out on the track and the job that they're doing. And hopefully you enjoy our streams as well. Always try and give it the best we can here in the commentary box and put on a show for you guys watching at home. So it looks like we're moments away now from the start of race 2. So you've got AH lining up on the right hand side there, taking a great pole position, as you said, Matt. He's a first pole position of this season. D-Big standing up alongside him. Fury doing a hell of a job there in that session. Though.
Great session. How much have we sort of looked at AH and gone, he's got great pace? For that to be his first pole position, that's outrageous. That he's not had a pole position, and this is the 12th round of the season.
It is. And obviously you said earlier on he does race on the pad, which might make it a bit difficult for him to sort of really extract the best of his full potential. He'd be a lot better off on a rig, and G29, not too expensive nowadays, would definitely be well worth a punt for anybody. I'd suggest it. If anybody out there is racing on the pad, it's possible you can go pretty quick, as AH is showing. But he's done a great job there, as you say. Really, really good to see him putting it at the front of the field. It looks like we're about to go racing here at Brno for the second race of the evening, round 12 of the season at SimPlay Motorsport, and we are underway. We are racing. It was like a good start there on the left-hand side from D-Bix, immediately pulling alongside AH, sticking off the line. Unorthodox is already up into P3 ahead of Fury. Looks like Keegan's made a fantastic start as well, up into P5. And we're 3 wide into turn 1. Looks like AH just has to lead though. Unorthodox on the outside. Unorthodox has made a fantastic start there. He's trying to cut in a little on the inside there ahead of Fury.
He's held it well.
A little bit. He's managed to hold that brilliantly as Unorthodox. He's got tagged by Fury. And we've got an instant in the background. It looks like that's Keegs involved. Is that Keegs? It looks like he is. Keegs, it looks like Fury as well.
Yeah, Fury. Kieran was off the bottom of the screen. I noticed there, Kieran off on the bottom of the screen. So what's gone wrong there? Who's that off? Who's that? There's bumpers everywhere. Whose is that?
Emo guy. And Dean with Socky at the back as well, but Peaceful Explosion's been caught up enormously in that. He looks like he's kept his rear wing this time, but that driver there losing all sorts of time.
Mazda's just come back onto the circuit. What's happened to Mazda there then? Not the start he'd have wanted.
Car. Look at that Godzilla.
Bits everywhere. That's another car off in the background. I'm not quite sure who that is. That Peaceful struggling to keep going. That's unfortunate. Sutty from the back of the grid is running P5 at the moment. Heck of a start for Sutty Apex. AH has managed to hold the lead. Unorthodox, D-Bigs, Keegs in P4. So maybe the stewards might have to look at a start line incident here. But I tell you what, heck of a start though. And I thought it was so clean and then went so wrong coming up towards turn 2 and 3. But everybody now coming back through the pack. There's Monkey Boy just behind Phil. Dean Wasaki getting caught up in an instance as well. Running there just behind Fury. Fury running the upgraded version of the Nissan GTR. Oh, sorry, the downgraded version of the Nissan GTR, if you like. But Peaceful struggled all night, and this not the race he'd have wanted at all here. But for AH, he leads in the dry at the minute ahead of D-Biggs and Unorthodox, followed by Keegs. None of the top 4 at the minute have won a race here at SimPlay Motorsport and will be looking for their first race win. And I'm sure they'll absolutely be wanting to get that done. For Sutty Apex, though, in Gary, from the back of the grid to 5th and 6th on lap 1, that'll be a fantastic. They'll be absolutely over the moon with that one.
Yeah, they really will. And Sutty Apex is eyeing up these 4 guys, all with the chance to shine at the moment. He's going to be looking to shatter the dreams of these guys in front, as you can just eyeing them up, waiting to pounce, and you can see that D-Biggs trying to hold off Unorthodox. And Unorthodox looking to the inside here of turn 1, but he has to back out of that one. He's not quite close enough. Keegs just watching this unfold in front of him, and Sutty Apex just eyeing up his prey, not engaging too much at this point. Gary and Little Leech, the 2 brothers fighting over 6th and 7th. These guys will not be very happy battling over the mid-pack positions at the moment, but obviously the starting at the back, it's not been too bad on the first couple of laps here for these 2 boys. As we can see in the background, also Kieran Argent trying to get involved in this action as well. At the moment, Little Leech just looks like he's got ahead of Gary actually, so Little Leech up into 6th place there and gets to jump on his teammate. So maybe team orders there, who knows? Possibly Little Leech asking for a drive-through, but then again, Gary in the first place.
Here comes Kieran.
Kieran Argent making a move on Gary now to the inside. He thinks he's got that done, and Gary has to give him the space there as Kieran
Gary's
Argent
struggling.
moves up into 7th place.
Oh, Little Leech all sideways.
Oh no! Little Leech has got it! He's got a tank stopper on, and he's up onto the gravel. He's now lost lots of time. Monkey Boy moves up into P8. It looks like Dean Wasaki is going to pick up that 9th. Is he? No, in the end, it looks like
Monkey Boy
just about picks on. Yeah, he's going to hold on to that P10, but P9, sorry, but that's a disaster there for Little Leech. That's really unfortunate, as we see Gary goes back onto the rear end of Kieran Argent now.
Yep, Gary closing on the back of Kieran Argentel. I wondered if Gary had a problem last time round, because Kieran seemed to pass him relatively easy. And on the exit to the corner that Kieran passed him on, Little Leech got a tank slapper, and how he didn't go into the side of Kieran, and then how Gary didn't end up T-boning Little Leech as he got the tank slapper on, I don't know. But Gary looking to go up the inside of Kieran Argent here as they go side by side on the exit to the corner, and Gary tucks back in behind. Kieran just a bit wide on that corner. Who's that round? That's Keegs pointing in the wrong direction.
Oh, no.
So he was on the top 4 on the back of D Biggs and Unorthodox, but it's gone horribly wrong for him. He's dropped down to P6 and may get overtaken by Monkey Boy and Little Each here. So it's gone horribly wrong for Keegs at the moment. And I'm not sure if that was a mistake on his own or what had happened. Unorthodox has passed D Biggs. Yeah, great race from these two. These have been close on track all this race so far, and in race 1 they was pretty close together as well. Keegs struggling, and look at Monkey Boy gain on the final corner there.
Yeah,
Gary's in the pits.
Drive here on the last corner. Yeah, Gary first to blink before the rains come as well, so that could be a bit of a bold choice. I don't think it's going to work for him though. He must have damage on that car, Gary. And we can see here it looks like Keegs going defensive to the inside. Little Leach can't get around him at the moment. Monkey Boy just waiting in the wings at this point. But it looks like Little Leach was having a little look to the inside, but Keegs covered it off very nicely at the moment, defending his position, holding his line, and keeping his car parked in all the right places. At the
Gary's
moment,
got
Little
damage.
Leach can't quite get it around him, and Gary, yeah, 100%. You see there, he's in the pit box for quite some time. Fury following him as well.
He's just commented on the
Fury
stream
also
saying he's
double.
got damage. We know Fury had damage. He had no bodies. He had no bodywork left on the front and rear of that car. But yeah, Gary says he's got damage. So Mazda and Gary, the championship leaders in this one, struggling in this race. Mazda down in P10. Gary has pitted. Now, would it have been wise for him to fit the wet tyre? Depending on when the rain comes, we're not quite sure when it's going to come yet. So Gary may have to pit again, and that could really hurt his championship here if he has got to double pit here. Not sure.
See there, Little Leach having another look at the inside of Keegs. And listen, he's done a move there. Keegs had to leave the door open as Little Leach came by, committed himself down the inside. So Little Leach up into 6th place. Keegs has now got his mirrors absolutely full of Monkey Boy at this point. Nothing at all separating these guys at the moment. With Keegs dropping back a little bit, maybe struggling as we see Monkey Boy going wide there, almost onto the gravel, riding all over the curve there as he came through the corner. But
Phil's in the pits.
Is actually sticking to the back of Little Leach, and yeah, Phil coming into the pits, but Keegs is actually not giving this one up on Little Leach at the moment. Little Leach goes a little bit deep into the corner, but Keegs can't capitalise at the moment. So these guys having a great battle here in the opening couple of laps of this race.
Sorry to butt in. Who did you put your money on at the beginning of this one? You said on Unorthodox, didn't you?
Unorthodox.
Yeah.
I did.
I tell you what, if I was a betting man, I'd have gone to the bookies and put a fiver on Sutty Apex. Look at the pace he's got. He's gaining on the back of D Biggs and Unorthodox here. Can he take a double race victory? We've only seen it from Mazda and Gary this season. Mazda at Spa and Gary at Nürburgring. Could Sutty take a double race with his teammate? Is now a lap down from these guys.
You do say that, Matt. You do say that, but Unorthodox is actually the fastest man out on track at the moment, and he's closing in on the race lead at AH. I thought that Dan would definitely have something in the locker after the first race, and we saw he wasn't too far off in the first qualifying session. So I knew he has the talent, whether or not he has the composure.
I think it's when the rain comes into it. Can he keep it when the rain's there? That's the tricky part. You've got to maintain. It's all right doing the pace in the dry, but you've got to do it in the wet. And we know Sutty can do that. We know he pulled away in the wet from Mazda and managed to fend off Gary in race 1 in the wet conditions. We know Sutty can do it. Can Unorthodox hold on here? AH has got a good start so far, a good 1.8 second gap to Unorthodox in P2, and AH just maintaining that pace. But again, we know the BMW struggles in the wet conditions. D-Big slowly dropping off the back of this battle. Unorthodox having a cracking race at the moment. Gary and Mazda down in 10th and 11th place respectively. Gary at Mazda gaining on the back of Dean Wysocki. Little Each up to 6th ahead of Keegs. Oh, that's Dean off!
Oh, he's lost it! Oh, he got tanks up there, and it looks like Mazda's up into P9 without any issues. Looks like Dean was pretty close to catching Mazda there as he came by, but thank goodness Mazda didn't get caught up in that incident. Mazda hasn't been to the pits, has he? He's just had a very difficult start to the race. Yeah,
Mazda's had a difficult start to the race. Looked like he was rejoining. Looked like he was rejoining early on. Oh, it's gone wrong for him.
In the pits again. This is a disaster for Fury. Fury's granddad, watching the comments, is going to be absolutely gutted with this one as Fury stops into the box. How quick is this one going to be? I reckon it's going to be in excess to 20 seconds. He's going to have to surely incur some repairs, maybe some suspension damage to that car, because it doesn't look too bad.
No, it doesn't look bad, because don't forget he had no rear wing, he had no front bumper in the first pit stop when he pitted. That got attached to the car, if you like, through the Project Cars pit stops. It reattaches obviously all the bodywork back to the car, so I'm wondering maybe a change of tyre to the wets. The fog is getting thicker, so maybe an indication that the rain is coming. If he's pitted for the wet tyre now, he might have pitted at the right time. He's just on the grass there, staying out of the leader's way, so well kept out of the way there. Unorthodox, quickest man out last time around, 2:02.5 for him, so a good lap time from Unorthodox. Quickest man on track. Absolutely. And just looking at the leaderboard, Gary not really making inroads on Dean. Mazda's still behind Monkey Boy. You see there is Monkey Boy and Mazda in the rear. not the strongest of second races for these boys at the moment, but Dean Wysocki down in P10. He needs to have a better first race. The Acoras have struggled this season, and there is actually an announcement coming to do with Acoras and to do with a different team for next season. I'm not going to say who, but a car change for next season in the GT3 League here at SimPlay Motorsport. As Mazda there has passed Monkey Boy on the time screens. I think we just caught the bottom of that one. Yep, Mazda clearly past Monkey Boy. So yeah, change of car for one of the teams. I'm not going to name who, but a change of car to the Acora, I do believe as well. But
yeah, it would be interesting to see, because the Acura is obviously down on power, and around this track it shouldn't really be an issue. But certainly last week at Daytona we saw it. We also saw it at Spa a couple of weeks ago as well. It was really struggling, in the higher speed sections.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not going to guess, because I don't want to spoil the surprise, even if I don't know. But I kind of are they sticking with the Japanese manufacturers?
Monkey Boy and Dean. Not quite sure, because it depends on who gets relegated and promoted from the Pro to the Pro-Am. So I'm not 100% certain if these are going to stay as a team, because Monkey Boy may stay up, Dean may go down at the moment.
Just to confirm, because I'm not 100%. What's the system?
It's the bottom three and the top three. So bottom three go down, top three come up from Pro to Pro-Am.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's a bottom three, top three swap. So at the moment, it would be the new lads, Emo Guy Fury and Unorthodox, to go down. And then Welshie, Stealth Sloth and Deeks to go up, I do believe, if I'm correct. Yeah, Welshie, Stealth Sloth and Deeks to go up. But we are going to... the admin have already agreed that Jamie Brazier, if he doesn't finish top three, will be promoted to the Pro Group next season, because he's just ridiculously fast for the Pro-Am category. So at the moment it's a bottom four, top four switch. So at the minute the four new guys, D-Biggs, Emo Guy, Unorthodox and Fury, could be racing on a Wednesday night, but I mean, I think they're going to catch the Coras.
So Pro-Am it'll be top three plus Jamie Brazier if he's
top
not
three
in top
plus
three.
Jamie Brazier if he's not top three, yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Unorthodox has taken the lead.
Oh my goodness, I missed that. Yeah, he's got
they're battling.
He's trying to fight back. He's going to look to the inside here. He's going for the immediate response. He overcuts the corner a little bit, but he gets it stopped fantastically. So immediately answering back, and Unorthodox must have thought he had the lead done there, but AH is not giving this one up lying down. These two having a great fight at the front. I thought Unorthodox might be a good shout for an each-way bet here, possibly a podium spot, and he's actually exceeding my expectations here, Matt. Currently fighting it out for the lead of the race here. A third of the way into this race, the rain still yet to come. We are expecting it to come actually any second now. So it was fascinating now to see when it does actually come down. The earlier it comes down, obviously, the more it will play into the hands of guys like Peaceful Explosion and Gary. Peaceful Explosion and Gary currently having total nightmares here in this race. Gary's already been into the pits. He will need to pit again also when the rain comes. And Peaceful Explosion, what has happened to this man? It seems to have his season seems to be falling apart here. And I just saw a bit of rain on the camera lens. I think the rain is falling here at Brno. We saw it in race one. We had torrential rain from the start of the race. We had a dry start to this one, but I'm pretty sure that the track will be getting ever slipperier. That's not even a word, slipperier. I don't know. But
we'll go with it for now. Slippier.
More slippery.
I tell you, man, who is having a shocking race, Phil, down in P15. What's gone wrong for him in this second one? Spoke with him in the mid-session interval, and Phil, down P15, not his second race. D-Biggs is committed to the pit lane already, so on the end of lap 6, D-Biggs is into the pit lane, and that's surely for the wet tyre. Has to be. Alfie in the chat, evening to you. Oh, so's Argent and Littleys. Everybody pulling the trigger here.
Just one thing, quick, mate. The quick thing is that we've lost Fury from the session. He's retired from the race.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm not sure what happened. Fury's out of this one. That is a real shame there.
So no points all night.
He wasn't having the best of races, unfortunately, in that Nissan GTR. A bit of a dog around this track here at Brno. So that's a real shame there for Fury.
Teague's a Monkey Boy.
Still out there.
Teague's a Monkey Boy as well in the pit lane. So Dean has gone into P5, Mazda up into P4, Gary into P6, and AH still leads from Unorthodox here by 0.3 of a second. These two still battling on track. Cracking battle this for the race lead. Obviously both guys still have to pit, and look at Unorthodox and AH. Fantastic little battle. This is allowing Sutty Apex to just gain ever so slightly with these two battling on track, but obviously the pit stop's still to come. Yeah, fantastic battle from these two.
Oh, Edge was losing it, and he was very close there to getting a pants upper on and going into the side pod of Unorthodox. You could see there he had to correct the steering. He must have slammed on the brakes and turned the car all the way to the right to avoid making that contact as Unorthodox came by. Unorthodox must have seen his race flashing before his eyes there, Matt. He almost went into him. I don't know how they kept it out of each other's way there. That's
remarkable. How he's managed to hold, not only keep it out of the side of Unorthodox, but hold the car
control
all together on a pad. Fantastic control by AH there, and hats off to him. He's done absolutely brilliantly there as AH, as he's now just dropped down into second place. I've lost my leaderboard. I'm not sure where that's gone.
Let me get out.
Yeah, there we go. No, you're all right. So AH dropped down into second place now, but when do these guys pull the trigger and pit? Let's wait and see. As it surely can't be too long. No, they're pulling the trigger now. So we end of lap 7, these two come in. Yeah, to be expected. I presume Sutty's going to follow these two in. I can't imagine Sutty's going to stay out. Yep, Sutty's also in the pits at the end of lap 7. So we haven't seen Mazda, we haven't seen Gary in for his second stop, and we haven't seen Dean Wysocki yet. Neither D-Biggs, Little Leach, Argent Keegs, Monkey Boy have pitted. Peaceful Emo Guy and Phil that far off the back of this pack that we are waiting to see if they come in for another stop or not. Mazda's in as well now. So interesting to see. In fact, everybody bar Dean has now pitted, sorry. So everybody has pitted. I'm sure those at the back of the pack will have to pit again, or will want to pit again. Dean Wysocki under a bit of pressure from D-Biggs, but I can only assume Dean's going to dive into the pit lane this time round. Gary back in the pits. So this is where Gary could lose a lot of time here and a lot of places compared to everybody else. Just a change of tyres. Who's away out the pit lane first? Unorthodox looks like he's jumped him. D-Biggs has took the lead. So D-Biggs has undercut Unorthodox and AH then. Sutty has done AH in the pit lane as well.
Incredible stuff. Yeah, it looks like AH had a total nightmare. He was battling it out with Unorthodox just before they came in. We saw those guys having a great battle, but Unorthodox has come out quite considerably ahead of Sutty and AH. D-Biggs has really made it work here on this. He came in a lap earlier than these guys, got onto the wet tyres pretty much straight away, and he has made it work brilliantly for himself. But Unorthodox is all over the back of him already.
Gary's jumped Mazda.
Oh my goodness.
Gary's jumped Mazda in the pit lane, so Mazda's had a nightmare of a pit stop and is jumped by his title rival here. So Mazda then struggled in the pits. He struggled early on in this race, and that BMW isn't the best in the wet weather. So surely Gary now has the upper hand over Mazda in this title challenge once again. Takes us. Can he get it done?
Here we go. It looks like he does on the inside, and he's got that move done. Is he going to go deep into the corner? No, he looks like he could have done easily. Mazda up into P9 there. Good move there, and Monkey Boy down a position. But Unorthodox is crawling all over the back of D-Biggs now at the front, Matt. It looks like he wants to get on with this. He doesn't want to fall back into the touch of Sutty Apex too much. Unorthodox is going to be very aware of Sutty Apex in third, because Sutty drove away from the rest of these guys in the wet in the race 1. So Unorthodox is going to have to keep his wits about him and get ahead of D-Biggs as soon as he possibly can. He cannot afford to be losing time behind him, as we see D-Biggs going a little bit deep into the corner, but he's keeping in the position for the time being. Unorthodox is looking left, looking right. He can't quite find a way through. Is he going to be able to get a nice run coming up Horsepower Hill here?
I think the Porsche really suits the conditions when it changes from dry to wet, doesn't it? The Porsche just looks brilliant.
He's got a fantastic drive coming up the hill here, Matt. He pulls out to the right hand side. D-Biggs goes defensive coming up towards the penultimate corner. Unorthodox, is he going to get it around there? Full round outside here. It looks like D-Biggs holds it on the inside and gets it parked perfectly on the exit. Fantastic driving there. Brilliant defensive nous there from D-Biggs, and Unorthodox is going to try and get the run out of the last corner. He's got the slipstream again. D-Biggs weaving to the inside, back onto the racing line again, and Unorthodox is going to have to go to the outside if he wants to get this done. D-Biggs is going to have to take a slightly compromised line through turn 1, and Unorthodox is going to try and drive around the outside here of turn 1. Once again, D-Biggs just trying to squeak him out a little bit. Unorthodox is keeping it there though. Incredible racing from these guys. D-Biggs holds on to the lead. Unorthodox had to get out of it, because as they crossed over the puddle, it would have compromised him far too much if he was going to be
He's looking again.
He's going to go.
Oh, they touch! They touch, and AH Peaceful Explosion has got through over D-Biggs. They had a bit of contact. I'm not sure Andy, his microphone seemed to drift far away from him there, but Unorthodox gets the move done. A bit of a door rub there as they come into the braking zone, but that was great racing between the two of them. AH, so his race has gone from bad to worse, down in 10th as he's in the pits again. So did they not put the wet tyre on? Back comes D-Biggs maybe. So he was leading, he's not anymore. He's down in 10th place. His race has gone from bad to worse here, and the BMW.
While these two at the front battle it out.
Oh, we've lost AH. We've lost AH.
He's gone. Oh, that is a real shame for AH. He was battling out with Unorthodox before those guys came into the pits. Now we see D-Biggs has replaced him in unorthodox's battle for the lead, but Sutty Apex, while these two at the front battle it out, is closing the gap. He's now only 2 seconds behind this battle for the lead. So Sutty could be on for a double here tonight at Brno. If he can keep his head in the game and keep chasing down the Unorthodox, looks like Unorthodox has finally managed to start putting the gap to D-Biggs, having made that move and made it stick. But Sutty could very much be a contender for this one.
Yep, Sutty really now starting to close in on the back of these two. Then that gap coming down between Sutty and the leader, but he has got to get past D-Biggs. These two raced with each other in a previous league before, so Sutty and D-Biggs know all about each other and their racing styles. Mazda has passed Keegs. I wonder if that was team orders, with Keegs obviously not in the title fight. I wonder if he's let Mazda through, especially seeing as the BMW struggles in the wet. Mazda's got to try and chase down his title rival, Gary Leach. Who's that off? That's Phil. Phil being... I think Phil's staying out the way, being lapped here. Phil, my tip for tonight, his race 2 has gone horribly wrong here, and that's not what we wanted to see. He had such a good strong race 1, but Phil not the best race 2s, and now it's down to his teammate to try and get something from this one then in race 2. But we've lost AH in Fury then, no points for them two in this one. Can Sutty, who was quicker by a second than Unorthodox last time around, get this job done?
Obviously that lap from Unorthodox from the last time around was in the traffic of D-Biggs. Now he's got that move done, he can really show what he's capable of doing here in some clean air on lap 10 of this race. 5.5 laps left to go, and Unorthodox has done brilliantly in this race so far. Yes. Race 1 was a bit so-so for him, but he has got the hammer down, kept his head in the game.
And if I remember rightly, he had a strong race 2 at Daytona last week, so race 2 seems to be a race 2 specialist, being able to qualify higher up the grid and get the job done early on.
Yeah, and some clear air is all that he really needed. In these conditions, obviously it hasn't been wet for the entirety of this race, but certainly being at the front in these conditions can be a major advantage, because you've got that clear track, you haven't got that spray impeding your vision and causing all sorts of visibility issues. As we see Sutty looking to the inside of D-Biggs. D-Biggs going a little bit deep into the corner. He's going to try and pull alongside him, but he can't quite move at the moment. It looks like he's going to try and get the undercut and get a beautiful exit, but once again D-Biggs just keeping his car parked in the right places. Sutty Apex can't quite get the move on him at the moment. And are we
on board for a send it? Are we on board for a send it? No, Sutty's backed out of it. Not just yet. He's lining him up beautifully, but we wasn't on board for a send it manoeuvre there. I thought we might have been for a second, but that wasn't to be the case. Gary's got a long gap. He's driving really well. Gary's got a long gap to Kieran Argent, 6.6 seconds. He's 3 seconds ahead of Mazda. So that's the BMW struggling here, but Gary will want every place he can gain here. His brother Little Leach and teammate Little Leach sitting P4. Quiet race for Little Leach in this one, to be fair, but we'll see what he can do.
Quietly creeping into it though. He's matching the leader.
Yeah, I mean it's not enough at the moment. We're going on to lap 11 shortly.
Could he be on for a podium though, maybe, because D-Biggs is starting to drop off a little bit in P2.
Yeah, potentially.
Due to actually D-Biggs has responded that last time around.
I wonder if that was because he was defending heavily from Unorthodox when he did the 214. Here we go. Are we seeing a Sutty send it? No. He's led us all down there and didn't send that one. Didn't quite have the bottle to do it there. But Unorthodox slowly now pulling out a gap to these two. 2.8 seconds is the gap, and Sutty knows that if he's going to have a chance of gaining on Unorthodox and getting another race win, he needs to get the move on D-Biggs done sooner rather than later. No, backs out of it again here. So not the lap times. Is it Gary? Whoa!
Sutty is well and truly using his reputation to his advantage at this point though, because he is every corner just looking a little bit to the inside of D-Biggs, trying to distract him in the mirrors, and D-Biggs will be well aware of the Sutty send it reputation that Sutty Apex has, which will probably be putting him off guard a little bit as they come into each of the corners. But or maybe it's helping D-Biggs actually. It could possibly be causing him a little bit of extra motivation when he sees Sutty lining him up, knowing that
he's wide.
He's
wide. Sutty's got the run. He was wide, and are we going to see a send it here? No, he's not sent it again. Sutty, mate.
He's driving really cautiously tonight. I'm very confused as to what's going on with Sutty. This is very unlike Sutty Apex. Seeing him backing out of so many moves. It's D-Biggs just later on the brakes, maybe. And Sutty flashes his lights there, opting to try and bully D-Biggs out of the way rather than sending it up the inside. Incredible stuff here from Sutty Apex.
I tell you what, we've seen
very
Biggs have a great defensive drive against Unorthodox and against Sussy Apex here, really driving well. Look at Gary's last lap in the wet, a 2:09.5. That is fantastic from Gary in the wet, showing good pace and really wanting to get the job done. 4.2 to Kieran Argent now. He's got a 4-second gap to Mazda, so he's slowly pulled away from Mazda, but he's catching Kieran Argent at a rate of knots. May not gain up to Little Each as much as he'd have liked, but a P5 will be, Gary will take that, considering he's had to pit twice in this race then. Oh, as Kieran, you hear him on and off the throttle so much, he's struggling in that Mercedes. I tell you, I think one thing we've seen tonight, Peaceful Explosion has really dropped off the title race at the moment, down in P12 and just struggling in this one.
Yeah, he's had a total mare the last couple of weeks as Peaceful Explosion, well no, not the last couple of weeks, but certainly this race. And yeah, the point standings are not going to look very promising for him after this event. He's usually so good in the wet, but I think before the rain came, he was just hopelessly away from these guys.
I just think he struggled on the circuit.
One theory I have, Matt, is I think Peaceful might have changed to the wets early on, and I'll tell you why. Because I remember looking at the timing boards before the rain came, or as the rain started to come, he was 1 minute 35 behind. He's now 1 minute 20, which suggests that he already had wet tyres on. That might be why he got lost so much at the start.
Potentially just sort of saving the tyres, probably.
There coming out.
Yeah, probably just saving the tyres a little bit. Sussy Apex still hasn't got past D Biggs. Gary's still closing on Kieran Argent. In fact, Sussy there, look.
Oh, he tries to send it.
D Biggs is driving so well defensively here, and I tell you what, they're not far off the leader's pace. These two, Little Each only just lapping quicker than these guys, 5 seconds off the back of Sussy Apex. But Sussy will be getting a bit frustrated behind him here. He knows he needs a good result.
Side by side here, Sutton's going to try and send it around the outside this time, but he can't.
No, he's gone for the cutback. He's gone for the cutback here, and as he got the run out of the corner, looks like he's seed him up a treat, and D Biggs tries to force him.
Oh, it's very
this
close
is fantastic.
He's got minimal space on the inside, but D Biggs in the end has to move over to the side of the track, and Sutton's gone deep. Sutton goes deep into the corner, and that's allowed D Biggs to undercut him. Fantastic driving from D Biggs there. He saw Sutton coming up the inside. He managed to anticipate it absolutely on the money. What has Sutty got to do to take this P2 and try and chase down this man Unorthodox, who's going to surely be getting pretty excited now, because he can see these guys in the distance in his rearview mirrors, battling it out, giving it 110%, and he's just walking off into the distance at the moment. 3 laps left to go, and Dan looking very good as I almost
Sutty's passed him. Sutty's passed him. The leaderboard changed then.
No,
he's going to be up the inside here. Oh no, he's backed out of it. He's backed out of this one.
What a race these guys
everybody in the chat, get your voting for driver of the day as this battle remains here. We're on to lap 13 of 15, and I tell you what, this is cracking.
Surely.
Oh, Sutty late on the brakes, and I thought he was going to just take the rear of the Audi out there. But what driving this is! This is brilliant. D Biggs has driven a fantastic race. Yeah, I think you're right. They qualified well in race 1. Didn't get the finish they'd have wanted. D Biggs coming across Sutty there, and he's closed the door brilliantly. Sutty is a shout, so Sutty gets a vote from Jamie Brazier.
Oh, so he runs into the back of D Biggs a little bit there, but it looks like he kept it together. Unbelievable racing. But as they came out of turn 2, you could see that D Biggs just closed the door.
Yeah.
Sutty was trying to send it up that little tiny gap, and D Biggs said, no, you're not.
No.
Don't you dare.
Great defensive driving from D Biggs here. He's absolutely playing a blinder. Unorthodox has just got his head down and got away from these two. He's not putting in stellar lap times, but he's just doing enough to do what he needs to do. Gary has got past Kieran Argent then. I don't think Gary's going to make any more positions here, but he's got up into P5 now. Little Each currently running P4, and Little Each only 3 seconds off the back of Sutty and D Biggs at the moment. Or 4 seconds, should I say, is here. Sutty! Oh. He's up the inside now! D Biggs has lost it! He's round! Such a good defensive drive as Sutty gets one up the inside, and round he goes. Little Each narrowly avoids D Biggs there. And can Gary gain on the back of D Biggs with a few laps to go? But Sutty managed to get one up the inside at the end, and that has put him into P2 now. He's got 4.8 seconds to the back of Unorthodox with 2 laps to go. I don't think he's going to have time to do it. Votes coming in for Sutty at the moment. For driver of the day. I tell you what, Unorthodox, cracking drive at the minute. D Biggs held on until he made one little mistake. Gary though, can he gain 7 seconds in 2 laps? He could get another position here. Can Mazda get Kieran Argent at the end of this race? That'll be interesting. Points more for Mazda as well in terms of the championship. But I tell you what, fantastic driving between Sutty and D Biggs there in that one. Great little scrap.
Absolutely. Sutty finally into some clean air with 2 laps left to go, but he's got too much of a gap, I think. Unorthodox has got this one pretty much signed, sealed, and he's got to post it in these last couple of laps. I'm sure he will do so. But Sutty there made heavy weather of getting that move on D-Biggs. So unfortunate for D-Biggs there, losing the car. He was looking good for a podium, but I think his chances of getting a top 3 have pretty much been washed away with that unfortunate, just getting a little bit too wide into the corner, got onto the wet line, and just had no grip there as he went onto the grass. The car was going round no matter what he did as soon as he hit that grass. So a real shame there for D-Biggs, but some great points for him, and what a race he put on there. Was giving Sutty Apex a real run for his money. Sutty is getting an overwhelming portion of the votes for driver of the day. He's looking like he will take this driver of the day. For me, I know Sutty's going to win driver of the day, so I'm going to give my vote to Unorthodox, because he is well and truly got his head in the game for this second race. And looks set to take his maiden win here at SimPlay Motorsport in the GT3 Pro Series as well. Yeah,
I think I'm with you. I think Unorthodox has qualified well both races. He got unlucky race 1, but this second race he's showing his class and on for his debut win. I know Sutty obviously a first and a second. As it stands at the moment, he is gaining on Unorthodox slightly, so Unorthodox has to be a bit cautious of that. And I'm sure we'll notice the time just slow. It's creeping back up now. Sutty's coming through this corner, but yeah, he's just got to be cautious. Doesn't want to make any mistakes. Unorthodox has driven a perfect race. A good battle with AH earlier. A good battle to get past D-Biggs. And he's got his head down since then and has started to pull away. Mazda, though, P7 on the back of Kieran Argent. Every point for Mazda will be beneficial. I'm not seeing the best of Mazda in the wet conditions today at Brno. He said earlier that he's looking forward to Fuji in 2 weeks' time, because it is a full dry race, the second night race of the season at Fuji. As Kieran's very wide there, and he's going to come back in front of Mazda and get the pull up the straight. So Mazda struggling in the wet. Kieran seems to be struggling even more. But can we see anything from Mazda? Can he get Kieran going on to the final lap of the race? The gap between Sutty and Unorthodox comes down a bit more again there then. On what times they do as they cross the line. Unorthodox did a 2:13.3 and Sutty Apex a 2:12.6. So Unorthodox, it's not enough to just gain 5 seconds on one lap, but Unorthodox knows that Sutty's coming and cannot put a mistake here. He's on for his first win here at SimPlay Motorsport. Sorry, nearly called it the wrong channel as well then. Absolutely brilliant.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah. You commentate on so many things and it's just hard to remember which one you're doing at the time. Unorthodox here looks good value for his money, Andy. He looks really top stuff in this second race.
He has looked fantastic, and he's really kept his composure here in this one. He's had a fantastic battle with 2 drivers over the course of this one. He had a good little tussle with D-Biggs before D-Biggs had his mirrors full of Sutty, and earlier on in the race we saw Unorthodox was going toe to toe with AH as well. So this man has by no means had this race to himself.
Won it the hard way.
Really get his elbow. He has. He's had to get his elbows out and fight for this one. And massive congratulations to Dan. I'm congratulating him prematurely. He's still got half a lap left to go, but I can't see him.
Andy, you know what? You're like this.
Let's not put the commentator's curse on him now.
Don't worry, Andy. Don't worry, Dan. I've got my desk.
He cannot lose this. He cannot lose this race. He has got this one signed, sealed, and he's going to the post office to post it now. Mazda. He can't lose this race. He can't lose. He can't lose.
We know the commentator's curse. Oh, what have you done? Mazda has managed to get past Kieran Argent for P6 on the track, so that's even more points for him in terms of his battle with Gary then. And let's just hope... Oh no, Kieran's got back through past Mazda then. So Kieran not making life easy for Mazda. Kieran has re-overtaken Mazda here then. And the BMW, I knew the BMW struggled in the wet, but I didn't think Mazda would be able to let Kieran through as easy. I mean, Mazda lapping 2 seconds a lap quicker than Kieran there. So he's really doing well. And Unorthodox here has lapped. That's Emo guy he's put a lap on. And he's just coming into the penultimate corner. And he's going to come around the final corner. And I thought he was going to lose the rear there. Oh, hearty mouth moment. Get through this final puddle. Yep, get the power down now on the straight. Emo guy's lost the rear as he comes round, but it's Unorthodox who's flashing the lights, and he's going to take his first win here at SimPlay Motorsport. A cracking drive from him here. Sutty Apex will take a second place. A great race too. Oh, that's Emo guy on his roof. Little Leach will get on the podium for P3. A great drive from Little Leach, and D Biggs is going to take 4th. He's had a cracking race as well, so 4th place for D Biggs. Good stuff from him, good defending from D Biggs tonight. In the end, Gary will take 5th. Got close to D Biggs at the end, but couldn't quite do enough to get past him. Kieran Argent versus Mazda. Who's going to take P6 in that one? Was that Mazda round? Yeah, Mazda had a spin, so Kieran Argent will take... Oh, is Mazda's lost his front bumper there, so I'm not sure what's happened to Mazda, but Kieran will take P6. Mazda is going to come home P7.
He's had a bit of a lonely one in this race. We haven't really seen much of him in this race too. It's not really gone to plan for him in that BMW. His teammate, the team BMW really seemed to have struggled in this one. They had AH up there fighting at the start, so by no means were they unrepresented. Was they unrepresented?
Yeah.
Is that even a word, unrepresented?
I think so, yeah. Emo Guy's retired, I've just noticed from the race, but will score full points for 13th place. Keeks comes home to take 8th place. Monkey Boy, 9th place for him, and on a night that the Acura has again struggled at this track. On a track where we thought he'd...
The thing is, I thought it would be a bit of a leveler for the Acura, because it's not so much a power circuit, it's more of a traction-based, you know, not even traction-based, more grip, you know, low speed, low corner grip. Low speed corner grip, that's the word I was looking to tell. Monkey Boy and Dean crossing the line together there, you see. Monkey Boy had an absolute horror story on the last lap, but just about held on ahead of his teammate. Peaceful explosion with a very poor race by his standards, and it looks like the championship could be slipping away from him for this opening season here at SimPlay Motorsport. He had a good showing in the opening part of the season, and he showed his potential in the wet, but that is certainly not the potential of this man. Unorthodox takes the win though, his first victory here at SimPlay Motorsport in the GT3 Pro Series.
Also,
what a job from him.
Takes the fastest lap of the race as well, so a good job for Unorthodox. Win and a fastest lap, so a top stuff there from him. And
brilliant.
Yeah, top stuff for him. Good podium for Sutty, another podium for him to really get him back in contention here. And Little Leach as well on the podium ahead of Gary and Mazda, who had a bit of a poor race by their standards. So the championship battle has really closed up. D Biggs, a good solid 4th place, considering that he had to defend heavily from Unorthodox and Sutty Apex in that race. Gary will take 5th, Mazda down in 7th place, not the race he'd have wanted there. As we see Keegs in 8th, Monkey Boy and Dean 9th and 10th, Peaceful 11th, Phil 12th, Emo Guy 13th as he retired, but did do the distance. AH retired, and we lost Fury as well early in the race. But cracking night of driving that.
Yeah, that was really good to watch. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this and commentating on it live. Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me again, Matt. Really enjoyed tonight.
Absolute honour. Join us next week then for the not for the Pro-Am, for the SimPlay cross race at Silverstone Classic in the Group A cars. And then join us next Thursday, the big one, SimPlay V Motive. That is absolutely the one to watch. Join us for that. I cannot wait. The gloves will be off between me and Andy in the commentary box. Check these guys out at motiveracing.com. Head over to the Discord server. They are back Saturday night with the LMP2s and the GT3s. I'll be commentating with them on Sunday night for the touring cars, in which Andy will be racing. Guys, give them a check out. Massive shout out, and they do a top job. Subscribe to this channel, like these videos. Also, if you want to get in touch with joining, head to the links in the description to join. The Facebook page is for the fans, Facebook group for the competitors. Also, there is if you go to the channel itself, there's a link to the Instagram in the top left hand corner, so do give that a follow as well. Andy, it's been a pleasure as always. We'll see you next week.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, should be a good one.
I'm just looking at the tables here. I was just about to go off air, but I'm just looking at the tables here. Mazda and Gary's gap is 1 point, not the drop score one. 1 point between the two of them. If I look at after the drop score, Gary leads it by a point. So Mazda's 1 point ahead on the normal tables. Gary's 1 point in front after the drop scores. It is that close, but this will be the last race Gary on the wheel, unfortunately, so his championship could end there. Sutty's overtaken his teammate Phil, and Little Leach has overtaken Peaceful in the standings. The constructors looks the way of Leach Motorsport at the moment, but I tell you what,
I don't know. I mean, if Gary could maybe set up his shifter as his accelerator pedal and switched his gears to the buttons R2 and L2. If he's on the G29, I don't know what wheel he's on.
T150, Thrustmaster.
T150. There's got to be a button layout that will work for him, surely, because I think any button layout if he uses a button layout as his accelerator, anything like that is better than a pad. Gary, please,
surely
prolong this championship for us. Do a bit of practice. Surely it's got to be better than the pad, Gary. Please,
it's
give
so
us a fight.
tight.
We
Yeah,
don't
it's
want to see Mazda running away with us. Just figure something out with the wheel, please. Set up some buttons on the wheel as your accelerator and brake, please, Gary.
we're
please.
absolutely begging with you. Andy, thanks once again. We'll see you next week. And from all of us here at SimPlay Motorsport, join us next week, like I said earlier. But it's been a pleasure tonight. Great racing once again from the pro lads. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night.